Hey guys, King of Trials here, your judge, your jury, your analyst, and today I bring to you my practice battles for the Psychic Cup. Thank you to Mr. Buckthug / Buckthug Dark, that's his username in there, but thank you for the practice battles. I was going to include another practice battles, my friends, but I forgot to record them, so yeah, I don't have it. But you know what, these battles are enough with Buckthug. I think these give a good showcase of a wide variety of mons that you can use for this cup. And what I like about the Psychic Cup, it's a lot like the Fighting Cup, where the meta is really condensed. So nothing's going to come at you from left field, and you're not going to see some random Blissey come in here and tear your soul, as it has Fairy Wind and prepares to tear you a new hole, because it's absolutely unstoppable in Great League if it were to get Fairy Wind. And yes, you can learn Fairy Wind in the actual game, so heaven forbid it never gets Fairy Wind. But if it does, that would be funny. But before we get started, before you see these practice battles, hopefully these give you an idea of what to run for the Psychic Cup, and I try to give you a little bit of information in between battles, or during battles, as to like matchups, etc., and good combinations and whatnot. So before we get started, it's my therapist mental health tip of the day. It's going to be really quick because I want to get to the practice battles because we're here for. But this, if you want to skip this, just fast forward straight 2 minutes to the battles, or if you want, you can go ahead and just go to chapters, because I put chapters in the videos for a reason. This is about the stages of change. So change is a lot, especially when you work with any client as a mental health therapist. Your clients are going to go through change, and you will go through change yourself, because you are constantly revolving around different clients. You're meeting new personalities, etc., and you're going to be working with different staff. For example, I went from working for the city to working for the school district. So it's still a government level position, but now I work with a whole different team, etc. But I still work for the same school district, but it's different schools. So change is going to happen a lot. Change takes time. Change can be time for people to accomplish. And how does this relate to Pokemon Go PvP? Well, as you see here, and as we see with every season, seasons change, metas change, etc. And change is scary, but it can also be exciting, healthy, and liberating. But some changes cause pain, while other cause grief. Whatever need is to change, it can be difficult for an individual to facilitate change in their life. Me, I'm used to change, and when you make teams for 8 times, I've done this 8 times. I've put top teams in PvPoke.com 8 times. I've made unique teams. I'm still the only person to this day to break up Master League way back in the day, and I've managed to break a #1 top team in there. That was entirely weak to Scratchy, but still made it there. So yes. But yes, change is important, and I'm aware that metas change, processes change, etc., but you get used to adapting with change, etc. So this is a worksheet with the stages of change, and just gives you a little thing about what you will work. I've actually used one of these worksheets with one of my clients because they were nervous about changing into high school. So yes, take a look at it. But it is important to understand the changes change and help to cope with change, so that's less overwhelming and you're a lot more prepared. Or you join the military like I did, and they give you a choice but the change. You're like, here you go, here's an entire mission you have to accomplish by yourself, do it, or so help me God, and whatever. But I hope you all enjoyed that tip. And without further ado, these are my practice battles. Thank you to Mr. Buckthug again for these practice battles for the Psychic Cup, and let's get started. Alright, thanks again to Bugthug Dart for this. I just call him Mr. Bug. Mr. Bugthug. Or Bugthug in general. Alright, so we got Malamar and Victini. So this is Victini. Bronzong, you're going to see me use Bronzong as a safe switch a lot. Or in this case, this is one of the plays I'm going to be where if you get a Malamar lead, what I like doing with this team, Malamar beats Victini and Bronzong. So I like playing the mirror out. If you play the mirror, Victini and Bronzong might be able to do some work, or they send their Charmer against you. So as you see here, because Bugthug is staying in, I can sense that there's no Charmer in the back, thankfully. But then again, I got my Shadow Gardevoir from a long time ago, so I'm not expecting a lot of people to have it. And as you see, he attempts to beam me, and I'm gonna beam back. Hashtag get beamed, baby. The thing is, when you switch in, switching takes a turn, or a half a turn. I have no idea what happens. But if you hit C and P at the same time, what happens is that you fire. You're going to fire, but then they're going to go +1 over you. So it's weird how basically the system plays like catch up. It's really strange. I'm going to get beamed here, but I'm going to beam right back. So I'm going to get beamed, but you know, I'm going to beam you back. And I love the fact that Hyper Beam is meta in the Psychic Cup, because my Malamar, I love it. I'm going to switch into Victini. I'm going to attempt to farm down, but unfortunately I get a Slowbro thrown in my face. So this is actually really bad. The thing about Victini is that 2 V-Creates actually doesn't kill a Slowbro. So V-Create, while it does a humongous amount of damage. Slowbro is literally one of the few, or I would say like 2 mons, like Slowpoke and Slowbro, that actually are allowed in this cup and resist V-Create. Outside of other fire types, of course, but I'm saying like, you know, like not fire types. So we're gonna get Water Pulse down here. The good thing is that I'm able to get a little bit of farm here on this Slowbro because I have this Energy Leaf. Depending on what Bug Thug has in the back, and it's a Hypno, I should be able to get this payback thanks to that little bit of extra energy I was able to get before they get to a Shadow Ball, and I do. This payback should go off, take out this Hypno, and then that Malamar is just going to take 1 Feint Attack, and that's GG's. Feint Attack is going to be your main move for Bronzong. I know it's slow, but it's better than Confusion just because the Feint Attack damage can somewhat add up. Next, we have a Victini onto Gardevoir. This is for all of you that are trying to use the Charm 2 Shield strat, and it actually works pretty dang well. As you see here, we got an Alolan Raichu switched into us. Achu isn't a bad safe switch because there's nothing in this meta outside of Claydol that actually resists Thunder Punch outright. So that plus Wild Charge, you're able to chip damage from your opponent or take shields. As you see here, we get Grass Knot. Actually, Grass Knot isn't a bad thing to have on Achu. This allows me to farm down Bug Thug's Achu, but Grass Knot isn't bad. With Grass Knot, you could possibly take out Claydolls if Claydolls are thrown into you. So, as you see here, Bug Thug still has the advantage because they come out with shield advantage. And as you see here, I'm going to get to the payback. That's a Lugia. Lugia is allowed in the Psychic Cup, and it's super tanky. As you see here, it only puts it in the freaking yellow despite eating a whole payback. I'm going to try to get the Psyshock. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. However, this is just a Sky Attack. Bronzong is a decently tanking Mon, and it will be able to resist Sky Attack. I should be able to farm down here, get to this payback, and then this poor Victini is literally at the mercy of 2 Mons in the back. Even if I'm unable to take it out with my Claydol, which all I'm going to do is try to win Switch and then send in Claydol. This is what I like about having Claydol in the back outside of a Switch. You can go ahead and try to win back Switch or save your shields for Claydol or Gardevoir. So this is like the 2-shield Claydol strat or the 2-shield Shadow Guard strat. 1 Shadow Ball will wipe out most Pokemon in this meta with 1 shot. Plus, Claydol is an excellent core breaker against those fires like Victini or against steel types. So if someone's running Victini Bronzong, your Claydol could do very well with them, as you see here. So Claydol is an incredibly powerful Mon in this instance. So we get Metagross onto G Rapidash. Now, some people ask me, why aren't you using Metagross in any of your top teams? Well, I figured out Metagross actually because of Bug Thug. I've come to determine that Metagross is actually really squishy. Look at all this damage. As you see, Bug Thug is essentially going to be forced to try to hit me with Earthquake to take me out, but literally just straight, all those Feint Attacks I did that much damage against the Metagross. As much as I like Metagross and its matchups against the Fairy type archetypes, as in Galarian Rapidash and Gardevoir, it's just too squishy. We get the Achu back, and as you see, Achu is using Spark, and it's going to probably hit us with a Wild Charge or a Thunder Punch, which is perfectly fine. I call the Thunder Punch, and it's not the Wild Charge, so it's not going to KO. I'm going to fire Psyshock here, because what I like about Psyshock is you can use it to bait. And if you get the bait, it's highly rewarding. As you see here, I'm able to get the bait on Achu, and then I'm going to hopefully just be able to get to another Psyshock, which I'm unable to, which is perfectly fine. We get Thunder Punch here. The problem is Achu's got hella energy, bro. So we're going to send in Rapidash, and Rapidash is just basically going to be a sponge. Achu wins CMP, so even if I got to this Body Slam, it wouldn't go off to begin with. And as you see, this is why Achu is such a fantastic save switch. Look at that Thunder Punch. It did hella damage. If Bug Thug Wild Charged me, I don't think it would have killed at this range, but as you see, I can get to a Body Slam. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to send in my Hypno. Because Hypno has Fire Punch, Hypno, you will be using Fire Punch Shadow Ball here, and it's for the Steel types. Bug Thug tries to catch a Fire Punch on Galarian Rapidash, which was an incredibly timed move. Actually got it right on time. I just happened to manage to catch it. As here, I'm able to Shadow Ball down, then I can get to a Fire Punch. But this is what I mean. As you see, even though Confusion is double resisted by this by my Hypno, it's still Hypno. The Confusions are still doing a decent amount of chunk damage. And this is what I mentioned. Hypno is one of the strongest closers. This is why Hypno and a closer, it's not a bad idea. It's a good budget pick, and a lot of you probably have Hypno. You will be using Fire Punch and Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball, like I mentioned, will KO a lot of things, and Fire Punch is there for those Steel types. Next, we got Achu, Bronzong, and Victini. This is a double safe switch team. Victini is great as a lead, but also as a switch. What kind of sucks about this team is that this team is very prone to Claydolls in the back. So I don't switch out here. I get a Rapidash into Alolan Raichu, but this is why Alolan Raichu is really good. But Thunder Punches, you're able to take shields or just win straight Thunder Punch. If you get a, if you get a Metagross, you can literally straight Thunder Punch to death. A lot of mons in this cup, you don't have to Wild Charge to take them out. You could go straight Thunder Punch, just because there isn't anything that's obscenely bulky in this cup. And welcome to our worst nightmare with this team, because this whole team loses to Claydol. But that's okay, because my steel gong from the Hunchback of Notre Dame. If you watch that Disney movie, please don't sue me, Disney, but Hunchback of Notre Dame was one of my favorite movies just because, it was fun, okay? You know, I was a kid back then, and yeah, Quasimodo is a G. He tries to see the princess. In this case, there's no princess, because we're all just gonna die because this Kyle's gonna take our soul, but we're able to bait! So because of this, we got this bait, Bugthug is going to try to farm me down. Maybe I can get to the playback, and I do. My Bronzong is a pretty good IV. It's actually one from Germany. I caught it during Germany Go Fest in 2017, 2018, I think. That's when the Go Fest were out. And because of that, I'm able to take out the one biggest weakness to my entire team. I can send in H.U. H.U. has energy now. This should wipe out this Slowbro. And then what we can do, we could just send in Victini, and the Victini should be able to just get a little bit of energy here, and then V-create its way to victory on this Galarian Rapidash. And what's worse is that Galarian Rapidash, those Fairy ones ain't gonna do much because Fire Resist Fairy, and this V-create is going to hurt. Boom! V for victory, and yeah. Ouch. But yeah, that's so as you see here, Playback can wipe out a Claydol. So that's why that's why even though I had a whole thing weak to Claydol, I can come out with a win condition, but I had to get that bait in order to do it. So that was yes. That team is good, but be careful of Bronzong. The reason of Claydol. The reason I'm putting all these teams here is just to show you a bunch of different variety. As you see here, we get a Slowpoke onto our Gardevoir, and then as you see here, Bugthug throws in his own guard. This is great because we can throw our guard our Bronzong into this guard. And this is how you see how Bronzong is able to do, even though Fading Tack is doing neutral damage. As you see here, these Shadow Charms are still chunking a lot. I'm going to commit a shield though because I want to keep switch. And Charm 2 Shield Shadow Guard is still very powerful in this meta. Unless it's resisted, unless you get thrown into a Bronzong or a Steel type, Charm will do a ton of damage still. And even against even against a Zong, as you see, that was doing a decent amount of chunk damage, and we get a Celebi. So we're just throwing as many combinations as we possibly can against you. So Celebi, as you see here, it's unfortunately against Steel type, R type, it's not doing well. And we got Malamar in the back. This team is I like this team a lot just because with Shadow, you could do the Charm 2 Shield strat, or you could save your shields for your back row, like with Malamar. Malamar is one of the strongest closers in this meta. However, I can still lose this matchup just because I need to make sure I get enough energy to take out this Slowbro and then take out that Celebi in the back because Celebi has energy. Yes, I wouldn't CMP, but I need to make sure I have exact energy. So this is where energy management will matter a lot. So in this cup, like you saw with all these baits and shield breaks, if you do lose a matchup, being able to bait and just good energy management can possibly come out with good win conditions, which why I like this meta a lot. There's nothing that's going to come out of you like left field. Everything here is like pretty solid. It's a lot like the Fighting Cup. The meta is pretty solid. We lose the lead here, but I'm going to throw my mirror. I'm going to have Bronzong on Zong action, but I have to be careful because my German Bronzong does not like freaking paybacks, and I just get jebaited by a Psyshock. So I'm going to jebait back. So as you see here, we're going to fire off this Psyshock. We're going to try to break shield, and we get our shield back. The unfortunate thing is I switch into Bugthug, so Bugthug has energy lead against me. But this is one of the teams I like the most. That's why I'm showcasing this twice, is because I like this team a lot. I'm probably going to run it because I like the amount of balance it gives you. It also has very high ratings put together, and there's not one that breaks this team completely as far as a core. As you see, I'm able to break both shields, but the reason I'm doing this is because I want to get energy here, and just because I have better IVs, I'm able to get to a Psyshock. I should have probably tried to go for that payback, because I think I might have been able to actually get there, but unfortunately I'm not. So we're going to send in Shadow Guard. Shadow Guard won't die to one body slam. It can live just one. That's it. But this is why Charm 2 Shield strat is still very powerful here. As you see, one body slam won't take you out, and then hopefully either I'll get the Shadow Ball or I'm going to swap out here, and then we get Guard on Malamar action. I'm going desperately for the beam, but it's not going to happen, yo. And then I'm going to fire Foul Play. Unfortunately, Foul Play does neutral damage, and it won't KO. My best bet here is to go for a simultaneous KO just because we're both hurt. And as you see here, you manifest a simultaneous KO. That was a really good battle, and that's GG's. That's why I really like this team. As you saw, even though losing the lead, we could still come out with some kind of win condition. And now, for my ABB team, may I interest you in Delphox? I have changed my Delphox from Psychic, Flamethrower to Fire Blast. With Fire Blast, you could possibly KO and nuke some mods because outside of water and other fires, Fire Blast is going to hurt a lot. In this case, as you see here, we do win the lead, and then we got Malamar action. Now, I'm able to bait here, but it's pivotal that you're able to win this matchup. So they're going to Hyper Beam me, and I call the beam, which is absolutely great. Now I'm going to fire my own beam back, and hopefully this actually goes through, but it's probably not. Hashtag get beamed. You got to respect the beam, and unfortunately, they don't respect the beam. Honestly, that was like, it's a 50-50 call with a beam or not. One Hyper Beam won't kill, as you see here, and because you essentially triple resist Psychic. Your Psycho Cuts, there's a lot of play still, even if you get hit with the beam, so... As you see here, we're going to have to shield because I sense this is the beam, and sure enough it is. So we're in the zeros now. That's a Lugia. I should be able to hit this foul play here, but this Lugia will still live it. Lugia is a very, honestly, it's one of the tankiest picks here for this cup. But with Shadow Guards running around, I just don't even have a Lugia to begin with for Great League. You have to trade it. I don't have one, unfortunately. I don't even have my Apex one that I could even use out, so yeah. Sad face. But it's okay because we're able to get to 2 foul plays here. This should take out Lugia just because we're able to charge fast with Psycho Cut. This is why Malamar as a closer is so incredibly powerful. And unfortunately, we get a Claydol. This is where Fire Blast might have actually been my play. Because with Fire Blast, I might have been able to get to a Fire Blast. But honestly, I don't think I would have. But unfortunately here, Buckthug is going to be able to get to an Earth Power here. And then... yes, it's unfortunate. Like I mentioned, it was pivotal that Fire Blast might have done the trick here, but I didn't have Fire Blast. So this is the big mistake I made. Have Fire Blast. We're going to send in Victini. Unfortunately, Victini isn't going to be able to do much here. I have to V-Create right away. I probably should have got a little more energy here, but it doesn't really matter because after I V-Create, guess what's in the back? It's that Malamar, and we're going to have to quick tackle down, and thankfully we're able to close out the match. But still, that's still scary. Claydol, like I mentioned, was the biggest F in that matchup, and we were able to come out with a dub. This one is the mirror match, Malamar on Malamar action. So if you get the Malamar lead, this is probably what you're going to see a lot. It's pivotal that you call Hyper Beam. The problem is if the beam hits, yeah, you don't die yet, but it puts you in danger to the point to where you could just literally get foul played down. So in this mirror match, you're gonna play the bait game, and whoever wins the bait game is probably going to win the match because Malamar is such a beast in this cup, especially with shield advantage. And like I mentioned, even if it's a Charmer, like you saw in the Guard versus Malamar matchup, they can still get to a foul play unless there's a decent amount of chip damage on Malamar to take you out. They shield a Hyper Beam. I'm going to shield this one. If it's the foul play, it's gonna suck. If it's a Hyper Beam, it's going to, and as you see here, you get the foul play. And now, Buckthug is just going straight foul play. I like this play he's doing here because there's no reason to risk Hyper Beam. You could go straight foul play, and 2 foul plays will take me out. I'm able to get that Hyper Beam here. This will kill unless it lives by a slither of HP. In that sense, I can switch into KO. Victini is your safe switch. This is ABB, so this is the... other than Double Steel, this is probably the only ABB team, and I like this ABB team a lot. Delphox is really underrated, in my opinion, for this league, just because you have Fire Blast. So then, as you see here, the thing that sucks about this team, as you see, there's a Claydol. That's an F. So, Claydol doesn't die to 2. The thing that's unfortunate about Claydol is you don't die to 2 V-Creates here. So, Claydol is a core breaker. However, what's worse than 1 core breaker? Oh, wait, hold on. A Victini in the back. That's right. So, as you see here, there's another Victini. I swap into Delphox. Unfortunately, I oop here. So... what I should have done, this is where you see Fire Blast having play. V-Create goes off. Yes, it does damage, but however, I won't be able to take out. What I should have done in this instance is force Buckthug to farm me down. Or go ahead and throw their energy. Because I possibly been able to, because my win condition here was actually to, I should have quick attack down and then had a V-Create for this thing in the back. But I didn't do that, and that causes my L. And that's GG's. Claydol is powerful, but yes, this is the ABB team. I hope y'all enjoy the battles. I hope you guys learned a thing or two, and these teams are awesome. I hope you enjoyed this shoutcast. And that's game. I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. as you see, there is a bunch of different combinations throughout you, whether it's meta or not. At least you got a whole bunch of different looks. So you saw what works, what doesn't work, what might work for you, etc. And as you see, there's a whole bunch of different combinations here that can possibly do well for you. So I like Bronzor safe switch a lot. That's why you saw a lot here. Victini is also great safest. Alone Raichu is a great safe switch. And yes, I like Delphox. I will make that ABB team work. I promise you. It's a freaking... That's also a rank 1 Delphox. I randomly was... This is why you hoard everything you catch. Because I hoard everything. And sure enough, I found a rank 1 Delphox just sitting in my box because I hoarded it. I was like, oh, this is amazing. So, yes. But, as you see here, if it had Blast Burn, it'd be so good in this cup. But you can make Fire Blast worse as well. And it is also great against Charmers as well as those steel types like with Bronzor. So yes, I still like Delphox a lot. So that's that's probably one of the only couple of AB teams you can meet. And like I mentioned, it still does well against certain combinations. And you could still win against a Claydol, which you saw there. But hopefully these combinations gave you a good idea of what to run in this cup. The good thing, it's a very condensed meta, meaning there's not going to be a bunch of crazy changes. So it'll be won't take you very long to get used to the team you're going to use. Or if you're going to change teams, won't take much modifications for you to get used to it. I hope y'all enjoy these battles. Again, thank you to Mr. Buckduck for these battles. And I hope y'all have fun in the second cup. And I just hope you're having fun in Season 12 in general, because it's been pretty dang good. Because after this cup, guess what? This is the Weather Cup. And that cup is terrible. Whoever thought it was a good idea to make specialized Ultra League cups, you sir, or you ma'am, or however you identify, you should be fired. Because that was a bad idea. I mean, the Halloween Cup Ultra League Edition, alright, cool. You know what? That's fine. But in a cup like freaking Weather... Who said? The Weather Cup doesn't make any sense. It's literally... Yeah, we'll get to that analysis later. I hate the Weather Cup. I'm just putting that out there. I absolutely hate the Weather Cup. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Do me a huge favor. Please like and subscribe and comment for the YouTube algorithm, as I always say. And again, I really hope you're having fun in Season 12. If you really want Legend, if you want that Guzma pose, now's the time for you to put in all that work, etc. We have 2 Go Battle Days. There's a bunch of different cups that are lying around, etc. And there's a lot of opportunities for you to make Legend. If I make leaderboard, I'm going to tank. I always do that. I will not sit in the queue for 20 minutes. I'm a mental health therapist. Yo, I got kids to cure and treat. I can't sit in the queue for 5 bajillion years. Plus, I like getting my battles done. But I hope y'all enjoying the season. I hope y'all are good luck on your Go Battle League sets. I do wish you the best luck in making that easy climb, especially if you really want that Gundam pose. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets, and I will see y'all on the next video.